Welcome back to Angel with Scaly Wings. So there's a lot of options still, as people haven't been getting murdered. Well, at least nobody important has been murdered, just background characters. I'm curious what spending a day reading would do, but at the same time, it's not very interesting, I feel. But assuming that things are the same, the only things that would give me a different outcome would be meeting with the store clerk, or reading. Let's read, screw it. In the end, I decided to spend the day reading in my apartment. I wasn't really in the mood for anything complex, so I settled for reading the next entry in the Sheridan's Adventure series. By the time I finished the book, in which the scepter of sovereignty from the preceding novel is first stolen, then reclaimed the novel's titular hero, only to be stolen again in another cliffhanger ending ploy, setting up the next series' next entry. I wish I just spent the time doing something more productive. I figured I might still be able to go out or do something else, but when I looked at the time, I regretfully had to realize the day was already over and it was too late. Really? Alright. So reading books are useless, apparently. Leadership. Reading books are useless. Good to know. Oh well, that's fine. The morning sun declared the arrival of a new day and woke me from my vivid dreams. Memories of my home enclosed within the towering perimeter wall raced through my head. The peaceful landscapes outside the apartment windows stood in defiance of those old thoughts. Rolling hills and blue skies were familiar to me now, and the purity of the sight gave me hope. Ding dong. Geyser, please come with me. What's going on? You sound serious. The chief will explain everything once we arrive. Alright. We're in the facility. Hey, Chief. Kaiser is here. Thanks, Sebastian. You can deal with the situation here while I talk to Kaiser, alright? Of course. Kaiser, I've got some really bad news. Well, what is it? You know Anna, right? I've met her, yes. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say this. Those few words were enough. Dread sank in and I already knew. Don't. I ignored his words and walked past him. Anna is dead. When I turned the corner, there was no mistaking her. Anna was haphazardly covered by a sheet, leaving her tail and blood-stained hand exposed in the end. She didn't even deserve full discretion. Are you okay? I'm fine. Let's just get this over with. Bryce nodded. And here's more bad news. The blood we found on the first victim in town matches the DNA evidence found on the second victim at the powder facility. Furthermore, the murder weapon and the method appear to be the same across all three victims, and that's going to be a big problem for you. Why is that? Because with these three murders, Reza now qualifies as a serial killer. We won't be able to keep this whole thing quiet for much longer. Higher authorities, including the ministry in charge of your whole visit, will know about this soon. I have no idea what will happen once they do. I'm not sure what to say to that. I don't want to worry you, but we can be sure that action will be taken soon. I've been considering this possibility for a while, and I think it might be best if you went back to your own world for now. This way, we can take action before the ministry does, and before this all becomes public. If we wait, we don't know what they'll do or how the public will react. With everything going on, it's too dangerous for you to stay here. No. No? This is the worst possible time for me to leave. We've given our PDAs and have hardly anything to show for it. We're owed several more generators, and let's not forget Reza is still missing. If I leave now, the only thing I have to return home is my life. I have lost everything else. We need those generators, Bryce. I have no idea if your authorities will continue to uphold our deal, or what they do to Reza, but I'm not leaving until this is over. If that's your decision, then so be it. I'll have your back either way. Thanks, Bryce. Yeah, blah blah blah. No, don't skip. Anyway, let's get back on track. I called you here for a reason, Kaiser. In addition to the murder, several things were stolen, among them your PDAs, batteries, and some of the quotas used to build the generators. Does that ring any bells? Not really. Reza might have some knowledge of electronics, but I doubt he has enough to assemble one of your generators, even if he had the parts. Strange. Even so, it's fair to assume Reza's involvement at this point. No one else has a greater motive to steal the PDAs, especially after what happened between him and the Maverick. Unless someone wanted to frame Reza in order to sabotage this whole operation. Do you really believe that? Hey, I'm just saying it's possible. I'll shelf that idea under possible, but unlikely.
Hey Chief, are we done here?
Pretty much. Why do you ask?
We just got a message from the higher-ups. You and Kaiser report to the Ministry of Culture and Arts immediately.
Immediately. As in right now.
Yeah, apparently.
What's going on? To be frank, I don't know. This is an extraordinary situation, and now that it's getting out of hand, they must want to address it. So, the worst possibility. If you'd expect the worst, at least you won't be disappointed. Sebastian, you can finish up here and go to the ministry when you're done. We'll probably have to make some arrangements after this meeting.
Sure thing, Chief.
Let's go then, shall we? It's not like we have a choice. Oh boy, Emera. God damn, she's ugly. Now I get to do this voice again. Hooray.
That was quicker than I expected. I wouldn't have minded waiting out here a little longer.
Greetings, Minister. Greetings. Shall we go inside for our official business?
No, I've got everything I need right here. It gets so stuffy inside on hot days. My system doesn't seem to mind, but I prefer the fresh air. I'd rather just stay right here unless you have any objections.
I don't.
I see. Well, I know I haven't exactly been up to date in regards to Rez's sudden disappearance, but to get the message today that he is a confirmed serial killer was quite shocking. Frankly, I'm curious to why the facts of this case have been withheld from me for so long.
Simply because they weren't within your jurisdiction. The murders were strictly a police matter. Only with the amount of new evidence, namely the DNA and the blood we found, and these last 3 murders now being linked together, and to him, did your ministry have to become involved.
I see. So Rez's involvement is now undeniable.
I'm afraid so, Minister.
Facts are nothing to be afraid of, though in light of all this, I'm starting to worry about my personal safety.
With our thick hides, I don't think our species is much to fear if we consider the murder weapon.
Speak for yourself. You don't think someone of my standing needs protection?
Oh, for sure. If you're worried about your personal safety, we can look into an escort for you.
Good. Considering all the murders took place during the night, I'd certainly need it. Long days are endemic in my line of work. But that's enough about myself. We now face the question of what should be done about Reza and Kaiser.
Minister, we continue on the hunt for Reza every day. As a matter of fact, Kaiser has been helping us do so for a while now.
Is that so? One human a murderer, another a detective. Interesting. And how do we know Kaiser isn't following a similar plan to Reza's, whatever that may be?
Similar concerns were leveled by Reza's escort, Maverick. It was his overreaction that caused Reza to run away in the first place.
Let the human talk for once, Chief. Please, Kaiser, enlighten me. You and Reza came here on the same mission, and the situation has escalated beyond our expectations. What you tell me now will determine the actions I'll take on this matter. Maybe you should start by telling me your side of the events from the beginning. Reza was fine during his early days here. Things only went wrong after you arrived.
I opened my mouth, but Bryce spoke first, determined to defend me. Arguably, the problem that caused all of this were apparent, even then.
How so?
Maverick suspected Reza of planning something, but I didn't think he had the case.
Well, did he?
No, what he had was a suspicion. The night he followed Reza, he found both him and Kaiser at the portal. The humans intended to send one of the Paramus generators through, but there was a confrontation that ended with both Maverick and Kaiser wounded, and Reza running away. Reza has been missing ever since.
I've read the reports already, Chief. The question is, did Maverick cause this, or did he just fail to prevent it?
I have no way of knowing that, Minister.
You just mentioned your apparent knowledge of problems back then.
Problems may not have been the right word. Let's just say Maverick's attitude was not helpful during the encounter.
Why did you choose Maverick as his escort in the first place?
Protection for the human ambassador was my greatest concern when I made that decision, and Maverick was the most capable individual in that regard.
Well, that worked out nicely, didn't it? You also seem to think that Maverick shouldn't have remained Reza's escort. Is that true?
Yes, Had I paid more attention to the warning signs, the situation may have been avoided.
So you accept responsibility for the incident?
Yes, Minister.
I see. Now let's get back to the topic of Kaiser. Reza was your partner in humanity's mission to come to this world. His list of criminal activities not only includes murder, but also theft of generators, electronic components, and the PDAs your people gave to us. I understand why Bryce would reason that you could help the investigation, but we have no other choice but to be suspicious of Reza's partner. What was your motivation when you agreed to help us?
It is beneficial to my actual mission.
And what would that be?
The deal between our races. I firmly stand by our original agreement. If Reza is involved with these crimes, I want no part of it. It has nothing to do with me or the reasons I came here in the first place. If his actions are endangering this agreement in any way, I want to put a stop to him.
I see. Well, after reading up the whole situation and hearing both of your accounts, I believe that Kaiser is trustworthy. Nevertheless, I think Kaiser presents a great risk.
Why is that?
After this meeting, I will hold a press conference to inform the public of the current situation. The people must know of the danger posed by Reza. No matter what Bryce and I think about your involvement, the public could feel differently. You, me, and Bryce will have to face the backlash resulting from this information becoming public. And what's more, Kaiser, you might be in real danger yourself. Reza himself might come to silence you once he learns that you are helping us, or consider the public uproar from those who would question your involvement. All things considered, it would be best if you return to your own world until the situation has been resolved.
I came to this very same conclusion, Minister.
And with your support, this is what shall be done.
Please don't.
You don't agree?
If you send me back now, this diplomatic relationship is over. I'll have to admit defeat to humanity. There's no way I can return without your generators, or PDAs, or Reza.
Maybe you could explain to them what a great choice of an ambassador Reza was.
But I was his partner, so in a way he is my responsibility. I can't just go back like this.
I'm afraid that's not enough. It certainly doesn't outweigh our reasons for sending you home.
Just let me explain, I'll tell you everything. And I'm gonna skip this because it's just one big exposition drop. Because I am not reading this again. Yeah, no. I've decided that the best way to handle this is just skip the exposition drops, which I can only think of 2 major exposition drops, and keep everything else in. Because I'm going to be honest, these exposition drops are long. My god, they don't end, it feels. Like, even now that I'm just skipping through it, I feel like this would probably take like 20 minutes to read through. Well, maybe not 20, more like 10 or 15. You already know the rest of the story. We found the portal, and you. And now you know why this whole thing is so important to me. All our hopes lie in acquiring the generators you promised us. The act of sending Reza and me here has, without a doubt, already cost the lives of some people back home. Beyond the city walls is a dead zone. We haven't heard of any other settlements for months now. The state of the rest of the world is unknown. When Reza and I were sent here, my peers made it clear this was our last chance. If anything happens to us, no more people will be sent. If we can't manage to bring back something that will help, we'll have sealed the fate of the tens of thousands that live in our city. I'm sorry, Kaiser. I didn't know.
If what you're telling me is true, it unfortunately does not work in your favor. As sad as your situation may be, it gives Reza a motive. Desperate times call for desperate measures and all that. In that vein, it gives you a motive. Considering the gravity of the human plight, it gives you all the more reason to collaborate with him.
I'm not. What Reza's doing is wrong. You can't send me away under these circumstances, because I'm your best bet at finding him.
Even so, you would still be in grave danger after we announce Reza's involvement in the murders. I cannot and will not take responsibility for the consequences when I know of the risks.
What about our deal then?
In the wake of this new information, and as a sign of goodwill, we will send the generators you are owed through the portal once this is over, under 2 conditions. Humanity must condemn Reza's actions, and we must reclaim the stolen PDAs.
I've changed my mind. You should let Kaiser stay here.
I cannot take your word under consideration in this matter, Chief. Taking into account Maverick's actions and your responsibility for them, you will have to be dealt with separately. With my authority as the minister in charge of the human visit, my decision is to have Kaiser sent back to the human world through the portal.
Please.
Immediately. Chief, please arrange for an escort to take Kaiser to the portal now.
I could do it myself, Minister.
Well, we have our own matters to discuss, Chief, and I would rather get that over with as soon as possible.
In that case, one of my officers should be here any moment. I arranged for him to meet us here.
How handy. Then let us wait for this officer of yours.
It didn't take long for Sebastian to arrive. After the situation was explained, he was visibly shocked, but didn't protest when he was given the task to send me back through the portal.
Let's go, Kaiser.
Don't I even get to say goodbye?
Let us not waste any more time. You will still be free to send letters after you have arrived on the other side.
Just go, Kaiser.
Come on, then.
We were silent as Sebastian and I slowly made our way to the portal. With each step I took, I drew closer and closer to the hopelessness waiting for me in the ruins of the human world. All in all, I certainly had a unique experience alongside these dragons, and although this place was filled with just as much drama and murder as back home, I would remember this world and all the people I met. I would fondly think back to the days I spent in their comfortable standard of living, a shadow of how humanity used to be. Even without the generators, at the very least I'd be returning home with a few life lessons. What's going on here? Lost in thought, I hadn't even noticed Adine approach.
It's none of your concern. Please leave.
Can't I even get a few minutes before I go?
I suppose nobody's stopping us, but make it quick.
The human on official business, huh? I don't even know you right now, do I? Don't you remember? I met you in the cafe and at that crime scene. But that's all, isn't it? Unless I missed something, yeah. What are you doing here? I was just practicing my flying when I spotted you down here. And who would say no to an opportunity to meet one of the humans? Not me. I'm afraid this will be both our first and last opportunity to talk. I'm about to leave this world again. Is that so? That's too bad. Kind of a shame I never got to know you. Wait, does this have something to do with the rumors I've heard? Is Reza really a murderer? I'm afraid so. What does that make you? I don't have anything to do with that. I was just helping the police find him. Then why are you leaving? It's for my own safety, apparently. This wasn't my decision. Really? But what about Reza? All I could offer was a shrug. I guess they're convinced that they can find them on their own. I see. I'm not sure what to think anymore. I'm not sure either. I looked over my shoulder and glanced at Sebastian. I should be going now. Alright, goodbye, Kaiser. Goodbye, Dean.
I remember her. That was the witness from Reza's first murder. Did you know her?
Yeah. I see. A few minutes later, we arrived at the portal, standing proud as ever in defiance of the elements. How many years had the structure survived before it was found?
I hope I can remember how this thing works.
Are you joking?
Yeah, sorry, I got it.
Alright, I suppose it's time for us to say goodbye.
Let's keep it professional. I don't like to mix personal matters with work.
He looked away, and I shrugged. Go ahead and turn on then.
Would you stand between the pillars, please?
Of course. I took my place to stare down the horizon when I thought about what would happen now, in this world and others. Even if I made a break for it, I'd become a fugitive, no better than Reza. It would be near impossible to investigate the case by myself, while on the run, in a world I knew so little about. At the very least, I took comfort in the fact that I did everything I could to help, even if it turned out like this. Nevertheless, I dreaded going back empty-handed and returning to my old life in our ruined city. Any second now, the teleportation process would start disintegrating my body before I would reappear on the other side, back in my dying world. I wonder if there was any risk of getting lost somewhere between worlds. We didn't really know how the portals worked after all. Maybe I would be flung somewhere else in space-time, or it might affect my body in some way. I hadn't noticed any unusual changes on my body since I arrived in the Dragon's world, but I had no way of knowing if there were potential long-term side effects. I still remember the images I saw when I teleported the first time, the vivid sights and patterns, people and situations I have recognized since then. It only took a moment to arrive at the other side of the portal, yet it felt like I had dreamed 1,000 dreams. And during the nights I spent here, those dreams had often reappeared. Any time now, I would undergo the same experience. I was almost relieved that my adventure was over. Things had turned out far differently than expected. I invaded danger, got swept into a murder investigation, and met incredible intelligent beings from several different species. It had certainly been a time to remember. With that thought, I closed my eyes and braced myself for the moment that would come any second now. But that moment never came. Next thing that did happen was that I heard Sebastian's voice.
It's not working.
Are you joking again?
No, really, it's not working. Wait, what is this? It's broken.
Can you fix it?
I don't think so. This doesn't look like a simple act of vandalism. It looks like some parts were torn out.
I guess that means I'm not leaving, huh?
Not yet, at least.
Well, what do we do now?
Let's head back. The chief has to know about this right away.
We were back at the ministry before long. Emera and Bryce were still outside as Remy approached the two of them. Here are the case files, Emera.
Why, thank you.
Kaiser and an officer. What is this about, Emera?
This is what I would like to know. Please, officer, enlighten me. Why has my order not been carried out? The portal is broken.
It's broken?
Yeah, it looks like someone tampered with it and stole parts. I couldn't even get the interface to turn on.
We'll check it out once I'm done here.
I suppose Kaiser will stay for us a little longer after all. Seeing how this is an emergency situation, I will make this short. Chief, as a result of your carelessness regarding Maverick and Reza, you are temporarily removed from any duties related to the humans. Given these dangerous times, you will instead serve as my personal escort until further notice. Considering the circumstances, you will be allowed to coordinate the investigation of the portal. But after that, you are to immediately return to me and start your new task. Understood?
Understood.
Then all of you are dismissed.
She turned to leave, Remy trailing after her. Alright, let's head to the portal. That includes you, Kaiser. Of course. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a sheet of paper on the ground. Hey, what's this? Emra probably dropped one of the case files. Either her
Either her or her assistant.
You better bring that to her. Sebastian and I should hurry to the portal. Meet us there afterwards, okay? Sure. I picked up the sheet and started reading. It was about what happened when I met Reza at the portal. Of course, it didn't say anything I didn't already know. As I walked up the stairs, I wondered if it was okay for an unauthorized person to enter the building. All I knew about the place was that Emra worked there. I did have an important document that was going to be missed, so I walked inside only to be greeted by an empty lobby. Luckily, there were some signs directing me to Emra's office. It didn't take long to find it, and I heard voices when I approached the door.
By the way, what happened to the scroll you brought me this morning? The last time I saw it, it didn't have that tear.
I dropped it.
Tell me something new for once.
Okay, someone else dropped it.
Am I supposed to believe that? Remy, are you aware of how much this costs? Repairing and replacing artifacts is not cheap. I'm afraid we will have to deduct this from your wage again.
I see.
You're not doing this on purpose, are you?
Of course not.
You've been working for me for a long time now. I expect you to learn at some point, but you are very resistant to do so.
Not wanting to listen to this any longer, I decided to knock. There was a few seconds of silence.
Please come in.
I only opened the door long enough to hand Remy the sheet of paper. I think you dropped this outside. After I closed the door and started to walk away, I heard the voices resume. This is from one of the case files you requested. You must have dropped it.
Then why was it left outside? As my assistant, you should have paid more attention. If this got into the wrong hands, someone could get in trouble.
Oh, poor Remy. His boss is a pain in the ass. I made my way back to the portal and arrived shortly after Bryce and Sebastian. Well, I can confirm that it's not turning on.
I told you that already.
Just wanted to be sure.
You really think this would still work with a chunk ripped out of it?
Hey, I'm not an engineer. We don't know how the portal works. It was worth another try. There you are, Kaiser. What do you make of this? I'm afraid I don't know any more than you do. I'm not an engineer either.
In that case, we should start thinking about the who and when.
There are patrols assigned to the portal and surrounding area day and night. So if someone tampered with the portal, they must have seen something. Today's day patrol didn't notice anything unusual, though.
I guess she just missed the part about the portal being vandalized.
It'd be easy to overlook. It's a small part of the machine, and it's not like she was expected to check every square inch of it with each lap around the area.
What about the night patrol then?
When I went over the reports this morning, I noticed the night patrol hadn't handed theirs in yet.
And who was patrolling last night?
Let me think for a minute. The schedule always goes in a certain order, so last night would have been... Damn.
What is it?
The night patrol for last night would have been Maverick. I got wrapped up in all the recent chaos and forgot to find a replacement for him when he went on sick leave. Maybe Admiral was right to take me off the case.
So there's no night guard here at all?
That's right. Whoever it was had an easy time doing whatever they wanted. Could it have been Maverick? If he knew no one was going to be here, he could have used that knowledge to his advantage. He couldn't have known that I'd forget to find a replacement, though. I don't usually slip up like this.
What about Reza?
Why would he have done it? He'd be cutting off his only way out. No, he'd be doing something smart. If he has the part needed to get the portal working again, he's in control of who gets to use it. He's cutting off our ability to communicate with mankind.
We wouldn't be able to inform them of Reza's actions.
Maybe we shouldn't have kept the investigation secret for this long. If your theory is true, that would be proof that Reza's actions are his own, not humanity's. Hey, I already trust you on that.
Or it's a stunt to grant humanity's plausible deniability.
No way. Things are too dire for the humans to take such an extraordinary risk, especially for that.
I'm sure that wouldn't be the only reason they benefit, though. There must be something we're not aware of.
Maybe we're looking at this from the wrong angle. If no one was here to guard the portal, anyone could have broken it. It doesn't necessarily have to do anything to do with Reza or Maverick.
But they still have the greatest motives.
Sure, but they definitely aren't the only ones to have one. They could be private groups who are interested in the technology, or its significance as a human artifact.
So that puts us exactly nowhere.
At least as far as speculation is concerned. It's about time for forensics to show up anyway. Let's hope they can pull some clues from all this. Sebastian, could you take it from here? You have been as dedicated to the case as I have, since I have to be the minister's side for a while. I'd like you to take charge of our investigation for now.
Thanks, Chief. I won't let you down.
What's up with that anyway? Being appointed as Emmer's bodyguard as punishment just seems strange to me. Are you kidding? I could have lost my job. This is a way better outcome. Honestly, she probably did it for her own sake more than anything else, but I'm not complaining. If that's all, I'm going to head back to the ministry. I shouldn't keep her waiting. So, what does that make you now? Temporary chief?
More like case leader. By the way, you won't need to stick around while forensics is the job. Thanks for your help. I assume you can find your way back to your apartment.
Yeah, of course.
Alright, I'll see you later then.
See ya. I started spending my free time roaming the town, but decided that it would be best to keep myself out of the spotlight. After cooking myself a rudimentary meal, I started picking up another book when the doorbell rang. Ding dong.
Hey, Kaiser.
Hey, Sebastian. Do you need my help again?
We're just a small town police department, and with Bryce removed from the case, our resources are thinner than ever.
Understand. So what do you have for me?
First up is the primary witness in the latest murder, Damien. The victim's assistant, he was the one who found her body. A few things have changed since this morning, as we've gotten some additional information from forensics that warrants further questioning. I know you knew the victim personally, so you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I'll leave the choice to you. You can find her assistant at the production facility. You seemed interested in that underground building found near the portal. I realize you might actually be able to help us with that, since it's expected to be a human origin. Your opinion would be greatly appreciated.
I guess I should add archaeologist to my resume.
Maybe human matters consultant would be more appropriate.
Do you really think it's okay for me to tamper with your priceless discoveries?
Oh, you wouldn't actually go there in person. I just want you to take a look at the collect information in the archives and give us your opinion. Besides, no one is allowed to visit at the moment. The building is old and unstable, and there is a danger of it collapsing or flooding. Obviously, we don't want either of those to happen.
Flooding?
Yeah, the whole building is underground, and we've determined that there is a rather large pocket of water surrounding it. Any kind of disturbance could endanger everything and everyone inside.
I see.
We also located another witness from the latest murder. A store clerk reported seeing and hearing something, so it's probably worth asking him a few questions.
Got it.
Here are all the details. Visit me at the department once you're done.
Sure thing. It was interesting that they still relied on me for their investigations, even after they tried to send me back to my own world. I didn't expect them to allow me to help with police matters after everything that happened. Now that the possibility of sending me back was eliminated, the advantages of having me on their side apparently outweigh the risks. Though I had to wonder who would have to be more careful from now on. Okay. So last time I did this, I went to the production facility, and I think I did archives. So I'm going to go to the store this time. Oh, it's her again. If you mix up the prescriptions again, then I can't help you. I can't refill this one. We're just about to close, so you have to bring the right one tomorrow. Hello, Kaiser. How can I help you? Actually, I'm just about to close up here, so please make it quick. I'm here on behalf of the police. I was hoping that you could answer a few questions. I see. Well, I don't mind as long as you make it quick. I have to leave for my other job soon. Farah, what are you still doing here? I already told you you have to come back tomorrow. Here, have a lolly on the house. I guess she doesn't want it. What's the deal with her? I'm not sure what's up with her lately. This is the first time this has happened. One time the doctor forgets to issue a new prescription, another time she brings me an expired one instead of the new one. This isn't exactly the brightest, but it's unusual even for her. So what do you want to know? Oh, I could. Oh. I could follow Vara. That is more interesting to me than talking with the store clerk, to be honest. I think I'm gonna follow Vara. Yeah, let's do that. Actually, excuse me, sorry, but we'll have to do this another time. If you say so. Luckily, she hadn't gone too far, so I followed her from a distance. Minutes passed as we walked through streets, weaving through an unfamiliar part of town. The young dragon looked small and lonely on the empty roof. Before long, we passed the village border, yet she pressed on and stepped into the forest. I turned back once to gaze at the village on the far horizon. In an instant, the dragon was gone. I rushed to the spot I'd seen her last, and found the entrance to a cave on the hillside. What the hell? When I peered inside, I saw Vara alongside a much larger orange dragon. The small dragon filled a bowl with a thick fluid and placed it in front of the other. Then she placed her hands on the large dragon's chin, gently as she lifted its huge muzzle and guided it toward the bull. But when she released it, the dragon's head slumped and fell into the liquid. The bowl tumbled sideways and spilled its contents across the cave floor. Ooh. I realized then that other than what Vara had done, the orange dragon hadn't moved at all since I arrived.
How did you even find out about this?
I could tell something was wrong, so I followed her.
I see. Well, good job, Kaiser.
What's going to happen to her now?
She'd be sent to an orphanage. The background check determined that she had a father, but the two hadn't seen each other in years.
Can't you locate him?
We did. Reza's second victim, the maintenance guy, that was him.
Oh. I see. How did it even get this far?
I don't know, but we'll certainly look into it. Some just fall through the cracks of the system. Being out here on their own probably didn't help.
Do many of your people live outside of town like this?
Well, some do it on principle, others because they have no other choice. Houses and apartments can be expensive, and it's not unusual for us to use natural environments as our homes. Alright, I think we're done here for now. Don't forget to stop by the department later.
I won't. Huh. You followed Vara. I got an achievement called Stalker. That doesn't feel very nice. Before deciding my next move, I returned to the apartment for a moment of rest. A small piece of paper had slipped out under the door while I was gone. Don't go to the portal was all it said. I considered the possibility of a hidden message, but that was unlikely. The statement was blunt and quickly sprawled. Someone clearly didn't want me to go to the portal. But why would I go there in the first place? As it was out of order right now. Such an action would serve no purpose. I looked outside the window at the portal's faint silhouette in the distance. The paper rustled between my fingers as I fidgeted with it, wondering about the message sender's insignificance. My train of thought was violently interrupted by a sharp burst of gunfire echoing from the portal. I had to think fast. The gunshot ensured Wes's involvement. He was at the portal. The question was why. If this was his attempt to flee back to the human world, he would receive a rather unpleasant surprise the moment he tried to use the portal. Or maybe Sebastian's theory was correct, and Reza held the part needed to repair the portal, in which case his escape would be imminent. The gunshots themselves were another question. Was someone trying to stop him? The police patrol may have seen him, and he may have been taken by surprise. This could be another murder in progress. But all of his murders were committed with a sharp weapon before now, not a gun. He didn't want to be heard. Besides, it was only early evening, and the town was still bustling. If Reza wanted to stay hidden, he was doing a rather poor job at it. Of course, there was also the possibility that he wanted to be heard. But who would he want to attract? The police? Maverick? It could easily be a trap for those hunting him. Technically included me. But I wasn't sure if he knew of my involvement in the investigation. There's also a very real possibility that he knew my apartment was close enough to the portal to hear gunshots. Could it be a signal for me? Regardless, the words I held in my hand were unmistakable. Don't go to the portal. I'm just gonna call the police, because last time this happened, I went to the portal. And the fact that I got an achievement when I went to the portal makes me think that there's nothing else related to that event chain. So I'm gonna just call the police. Ultimately, I trusted the mysterious message. Remy's list of phone numbers given to me when he brought me to his apartment in the first place proved to be a valuable tool. I dialed the emergency line and was greeted by a calm voice asking me about my emergency. The gravity of the situation was understood, and I was advised to stay inside until further notice. A team was dispatched to deal with the situation while I waited from my window. I tried to catch a glimpse of what was going on at the portal, but I couldn't see much. The dark of night was fast approaching. About an hour later, I was informed the team had searched the perimeter, though no trace of Reza was found. I was given the go-ahead to continue with my investigation, but I was free to stay where I was if it felt unsafe. So unfortunately, I can't go talk to the clerk. I wonder if Damien, was it? I wonder if he would be a bit more cordial since I've gone and talked to him before. Maybe. Yeah, let's go to the facility, see if I can get some information from him. Or different information, I suppose.
Hey, Kaiser.
Lorm, right?
Yep. Did you get a chance to think about what I told you last time?
Don't worry, I didn't lose your number. They keep me pretty busy, so I don't really have much free time.
Well, if anything changes, give me a call.
I will.
I gotta go now, so take care.
You too. This should be the right place. I mean, I've talked with Damien before, so... Oh, it's you again. What do you want? Can I ask you a few questions? What about Anna's murder? And who are you to go around asking questions like that? I'm working with the police on this matter. And I'm supposed to believe that. For all I know, you could be with the murderer and are just here to find out if I know something that could implicate you. Well, according to my information, you didn't particularly like the victim. Not only were you the last person here alive, but you were also the one who found her. As you may imagine, this warrants some questions. You know what? I don't have to listen to this. I don't know who you think you are, barging into my workplace and barking questions, but if you really are with the police, let them know I won't say one more word on the matter without a lawyer. I wonder if Damien was a suspicious person in general, or if the rumors surrounding Reza were affecting his perception of me. Before this, everyone I had talked to during my investigation had been rather cooperative. Or I think Damien's just a dickhead. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. Whew, it's getting late. I better head to the police station now. Do I have everything? Let's see what Sebastian will say to this. Yeah, he's not going to be happy because I found fuck all.
There you are, Kaiser.
It seems to me you've taken a liking to Bryce's chair.
Maybe I could get used to this. Don't tell Bryce, though. By the way, good job calling the police when you heard Reza. It's too bad he got away again, but maybe a witness will come forward and we can find out what happened. Now let's take a look at what you got for me. You did great today, Kaiser. Really? The police department is glad to have you on our side. You saved that little girl, as far as I'm concerned. Nothing else you could have done would have mattered as much. Good job, Kaiser.
I did well in the third investigation. Really? Okay. Oh, I did well in all investigations. Cool. I do what I can.
I know, and your help is greatly appreciated, believe me. Especially since we're so short on staff right now. That'll be all for today. I'll contact you if you need anything. Of course. See you next time.
See ya. I'm surprised I did well in that investigation. I thought I did fuck all, but apparently not. Yeah, whatever. Finally a free day. What should I do? Well, I think that should be it for this video. I'm surprised I did well in that investigation, to be honest, but whatever. I'll take it. I got 2 achievements from it, so I like it. I'll see you next time.